They left me under the crimson sky, the dust whipping through the fields like shredded fire. I remember their faces, not with affection, but with the strange clarity that comes from betrayal. My mother's eyes, Valeria's, didn't tremble when she turned away. Damien stood behind her, silent, analyzing even the act of abandonment as if it were a scientific process. And Vincent, their silent observer, smiled faintly, as though this were entertainment. I was 12 cycles old, though my body looked older, too tall, too sharp, too wrong. They called me the unfinished one, a hybrid experiment that blurred the sacred boundary between human and alien DNA. When their funding was cut, I became a liability. So they sent me away, wrapped in rags, dropped at the gate of a rancher named Adriel, a cruel joke between powerful men. Adriel didn't laugh when he saw me. He just stood there, a shadow against the setting sun, hat low over his brow. The world around him was barren, old ranch houses scattered across red soil, the horizon bruised by the burn of orbiting satellites. "Who are you supposed to be?" he asked. His voice carried no threat, only confusion. "They called me Freya," I said quietly. He looked over my body, my pale iridescent skin, the faint glow that pulsed through the veins of my arms. His jaw tensed. "They left you here." I nodded. "As a joke." He sighed, turned, and without another word, opened the creaking door behind him. "Then the joke's on them." Come inside, the house smelled of iron and earth. Rusted machines slept in corners, whispering of another life, a time when this place had been alive. He gave me food, real food, not the nutrient packs from the lab. My body rejected it at first, trembling, but Adriel didn't push. He just watched, as though trying to understand a language written in my skin. Days turned into weeks. I spoke little. He asked less. But in silence, something began to shift. I watched him work, hands calloused, deliberate. His face was older than his years. His eyes were the color of storms. At night, I'd sit outside the barn, staring up at the dark expanse above. There between stars, I sometimes thought I saw them. Valeria and Damien, still orbiting in their shining city, pretending I never existed. One evening, Adriel brought out an old transmitter, something barely functional. "Used to talk to traders through this," he said. "Now it just hums." Like it's remembering voices, I touched it. The hum changed, softened as though it recognized me. Adriel froze. "You did that?" "I think it's responding to my field." "Your what?" "The energy in me. They built it into my cells. I was meant to interface with machines." He leaned closer. "Freya, you mean to tell me you can control this thing?" "I don't control it," I whispered. "It listens." That night, for the first time since they'd abandoned me, I felt something more than emptiness. Connection. Weeks later, a storm came. The ranch's shielding panels failed, power lines snapping under wind that screamed like it carried ghosts. Adriel rushed outside to secure the turbines. I followed. The storm clawed at us, red lightning tearing across the sky. "Stay inside," he shouted. "I can help." "No!" But I ran into the open. My body reacted before thought. Light rippled from my arms, forming a thin, transparent barrier. The debris around us slowed, fell harmlessly to the ground. Adriel turned, disbelief carved into his face. "What did you just do?" "I don't know," I said, trembling. It just happened." The barrier flickered, dimmed, then shattered. I collapsed. He caught me before I hit the ground. When I woke, the storm was gone. Adriel sat beside me, bandages on his arm. "You saved my life," he said softly. "You're no joke, Freya." His voice carried something dangerous. Warmth, something I'd never known from anyone human. That night, while Adriel slept, I heard the hum again. The transmitter lit up faintly. Static turned to whispers. A voice, cold, calculated. "Subject Freya detected. Energy output exceeds baseline. Retrieval authorized." I froze. Damien's voice. He was watching me, even here. I turned off the transmitter, heart racing. For the first time I understood. They hadn't abandoned me completely. They were waiting, studying, maybe even regretting, or maybe they feared what I might become. When dawn broke, I stepped outside. The ranch stretched endlessly, peaceful, unaware of the trap closing around it. Adriel was fixing a turbine blade, sunlight glinting off his shoulders. I wanted to tell him everything, but something inside warned me not to. He saw me standing there and smiled slightly. "Sleep all right?" "Yes," I lied. The horizon shimmered. For a second, I thought I saw a flicker of movement, a silver glint far beyond the dunes like an eye-opening. My blood pulsed with that familiar hum again. Something was coming, and this time I wasn't the one being abandoned. Morning arrived in silence, but the air carried tension so sharp it hummed against my skin. I'd felt the signal again, faint, rhythmic, mechanical, the same frequency Damien used back in the labs. It wasn't just static, it was tracking me. Adriel didn't notice. He was feeding the livestock, humming a song that didn't belong to this world. I wanted to tell him everything, that Damien had found me, that Valeria's people might already be on their way, but fear held my tongue. Every time I thought of that place, of glass corridors and white light and needles, my body froze. The sun climbed higher, and I tried to focus on the ordinary rhythm of Adriel's life. But the machines on the ranch began to twitch, engines flickering, drones short-circuiting, sensors flashing random data. "Adriel," I called. "Something's wrong." He frowned at the nearest turbine, tapping its side. "It's been glitching since the storm." "No," I said, stepping closer. "It's reacting to something out there." I turned toward the western ridge. The horizon trembled. 3 dark shapes glided across the sky, sleek, silent crafts cutting through the wind like blades. Adriel followed my gaze. "Are those?" "Yes." My voice broke. "They found me." He didn't ask who they were. He just moved. Inside. Now we ran for the barn. He slammed the doors, locking them with a heavy steel bar. The hum outside grew stronger. My heart pulsed in sync with it. "Freya," he said, gripping my shoulders. "What's happening?" "They called me an anomaly." Damien built a failsafe in my genome, a signal beacon that activates when my energy levels spike. "You mean when you saved me during the storm?" I nodded. "That surge told them I'm alive." A low rumble shook the walls. Dust rained from the beams. Adriel grabbed his old pulse rifle from the shelf. It was an antique, but his grip on it was steady. "They're not taking you," he said. The sound of engines roared outside, and the roof lit up with white light. Then, impact. The barn doors blew inward. Smoke filled the air. Through it, I saw them. 3 figures in matte armor, faces hidden behind reflective visors. At the center stood Vincent. His expression was calm, elegant, wrong for this place. "Freya," he said smoothly, "you've grown." Adriel raised his weapon. "You need to leave." Vincent's smile didn't waver. "Mr. Adriel, there's no need for violence. We only want the girl." I stepped forward. "Why now?" "You threw me away." "Orders change," he replied. "Your mother wants to see you." The mention of her hit harder than the explosion. Valeria, the woman who looked at me once and saw only failure. "Freya," Adriel said under his breath, "get behind me." But something inside me snapped. I walked toward Vincent. "Tell Damien and Valeria I'm not their experiment anymore." He tilted his head. "Then prove it." One of his soldiers raised a shock rifle. The beam fired, blue lightning slicing through the air. I lifted my hand instinctively. The light bent, curved, and dissolved before touching me. The energy sank into my skin like breath. Adriel stared in disbelief. "You absorbed it." Vincent's eyes narrowed. "Interesting." I felt the power burn inside me, wild, uncontrolled. My hands trembled. The barn shuddered, lights flickering, walls shaking. The soldiers retreated a step, uncertain. Vincent whispered into his communicator. Damien was right. "She's evolving." His words barely reached me. My focus locked on Adriel, his fear, his protectiveness. "Freya," he said gently, "listen to me. You can stop this. You have to." I tried, but the surge kept rising. My pulse matched the frequency of the ships above. My vision blurred into light. Then, darkness. When I woke, the barn was silent again. Smoke hung in the air, Adriel was kneeling beside me, his face streaked with soot. "They're gone," he said quietly. "You knocked out their systems." "They just dropped." I sat up, trembling. "Did I hurt you?" He smiled faintly. "You saved me." Again, the humor in his voice didn't reach his eyes. He'd seen what I could do, what I was. "Adriel," I whispered. "I didn't mean to." He touched my arm. "You don't have to apologize for surviving." I wanted to believe him, but the part of me that remembered the labs, the cold voices, the fear, knew better. Survival was never enough. They would come again, and next time, they wouldn't underestimate me. That night, the stars felt closer than ever, their light reflecting off the wreckage of the ships scattered across the dunes. I couldn't sleep. I stood at the window, watching the horizon. Adriel came up behind me. "You're thinking about leaving," he said softly. "I can't stay here. They'll destroy everything to find me." "Then we run." I turned to him. "You'd come with me?" He nodded without hesitation. "You didn't ask to be part of this." "Neither did I. But maybe we can face it together." Something unspoken passed between us. Something fragile, real. For the first time, I wasn't just an experiment. I was seen. Before dawn, we packed supplies, salvaged weapons, and an old ground skimmer that hadn't flown in years. As Adriel adjusted the controls, a faint light blinked on the dash. A message, encrypted. He frowned. "It's coming from the wreck." I opened the feed. Static cleared, and Damien's face appeared on the cracked screen. "Freya, if you can hear this, understand. Vincent is not who he seems. He's part of something far greater. Something even I can't control." Adriel leaned closer. "What's he talking about?" Damien's image flickered, voice breaking through distortion. "They told you we abandoned you as a joke. But the truth is..." The message cut out. The air outside pulsed with light again. On the horizon, something enormous moved through the dust. Tall, mechanical, alive. Adriel whispered, "What is that?" I stared at the rising silhouette. "Retrieval wasn't the mission," I said slowly. "It was bait." The ground split beneath our boots as the thing rose from the dunes, an iron giant cloaked in red dust and shimmering plasma light. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't human. It moved like it was breathing. Every vibration crawled through my bones, resonating with something deep inside me. Adriel yanked me toward the skimmer. "Move!" We ran, sand slicing our faces, the air thick with static. Behind us, the colossal machine unfolded its limbs, towering, insect-like, plated in black metal that absorbed the sunlight. A symbol gleamed across his chest. Project Seraphis. I knew that name. I'd heard Damien whisper it in the lab when he thought I was asleep. He'd called it the God Engine. Adriel started the skimmer, the old turbines coughing blue fire. The machine's eyes lit up, two molten orbs locking onto me. "Why is it looking at you?" he shouted. "Because," I whispered, "it was made for me." We tore across the desert, the skimmer rattling under the strain. The machine followed, each step cracking the crust of the earth, sending ripples of molten sand in all directions. Adriel shouted over the wind, "How do we stop it?" "We can't," I said. "Not yet." The machine's chest split open, and a beam of light exploded outward, scorching the ground ahead of us. The skimmer veered sharply. Metal screamed. We crashed behind a ridge, smoke spiraling from the engine. Adriel stumbled out, coughing. "You all right?" I nodded, though every nerve in my body was shaking. "It's not just tracking me. It's connected to me." He looked up at the glowing monster. "You're saying it's alive because of you?" "I think..." My voice faltered. "I think Damien used my DNA to build its neural core. My body was the prototype. Project Seraphis is the result." Adriel's face hardened. "Then you're the only one who can stop it." The machine's shadow loomed closer. I could hear the hum of its systems, a low, familiar rhythm that echoed my heartbeat. I closed my eyes. For a moment, the world faded, replaced by flashes of memory. White walls, the sound of Valeria's voice saying, "She'll never survive outside." They never expected I'd feel everything they built into me. They thought emotion was a flaw, but emotion was power. I reached out, Not physically, but mentally. The hum responded. Freya? Adriel's voice was faint. Stay back, I whispered. I can reach it. The air rippled. I felt the machine hesitate, a flicker of static across its armor. Then connection. My mind filled with blinding data streams, images of circuits and energy channels. It felt like drowning in light. Within that torrent, a voice spoke. Freya, the Creator calls you home. Damien, his voice encoded in the machine's core. Your existence was never a mistake. You were the seed, the bridge. I'm not your bridge, I hissed. I'm not your weapon. Then prove it. The link snapped. The machine roared, unleashing another blast. The ridge exploded, throwing us backward. Adriel shielded me with his body, taking the brunt of the debris. Adriel, I screamed. He grimaced, blood on his arm. I'm fine. Go, I won't leave you. Then finish this, Freya. The machine advanced again. Every pulse of its core sent pain through my veins. I could feel it. Each energy surged like a heartbeat echoing my own. Then I realized something terrifying. If I could sense it, maybe I could control it. I pressed my hands against the ground, eyes burning. The hum inside me flared. Sparks danced across my skin, threads of light weaving through the dirt. The machine paused mid-step. Come on, I whispered. Listen to me. Its head tilted slightly. Adriel stared. Freya, it's stopping. I focused harder. The connection deepened. I could see its power grid, the fusion core. Everything mapped out like veins beneath skin. Freya! Adriel shouted. You're glowing! I can shut it down, I said through clenched teeth. But if I do, I might not come back. He moved closer. You're not dying for them. For you, I whispered. Maybe that's reason enough. The light inside me surged, a storm of pure energy. I sent the pulse through the earth, into the machine's heart. Circuits overloaded, plasma flickered, and the Titan let out a scream that shook the air. Its limbs seized. Its chest imploded in a wave of blue fire. The explosion ripped across the desert, throwing Adriel and me to the ground. When the dust cleared, the machine was still, half buried, glowing faintly. Adriel crawled to me. Freya, talk to me. Are you? I'm fine, I said weakly. I stopped it. He helped me sit up, his hand lingering on mine. You did more than that. You saved us again. For a moment, there was peace. The sky above shimmered gold, and I could almost believe it was over. Then from the wreckage, a faint voice crackled through the debris. Freya, this isn't over. Damien, his tone was calm, almost proud. That was only a shell. The real Seraphis sleeps beneath the surface. You just woke it. The ground beneath us began to tremble again, deep, steady, endless. Adriel looked at me, eyes wide. Freya, what did you do? I felt tears burning my eyes. I just started the end of the world. The tremors didn't stop. They deepened, rhythmic, alive, as if the desert itself had a pulse. Adriel and I clung to the shattered hull of the fallen machine, while fissures split open across the dunes, glowing with blue light that reached deep into the planet's crust. The ground's collapsing, Adriel shouted. I know! A roar echoed from below, metal grinding against stone. The sand fell away in a spiral, swallowing the wreckage. For a heartbeat, I saw a vast chasm beneath us, illuminated by thousands of flickering lights. Then the surface gave way. We fell. When I opened my eyes, everything was black and humming. Faint bioluminescent threads coiled along the walls, pulsing in slow rhythm. My skin glowed faintly in answer. Freya? Adriel's voice came from nearby. You alive? Yes, I think so. I helped him up. We were standing in a tunnel carved of glass and metal, the air thick with static energy. Every step we took echoed like whispers. This place, Adriel murmured, it's not natural. No, it's built. I touched the wall. It was warm. I recognized the pattern in the design. Interlocking hexagonal veins of energy. I'd seen them once before. This is one of Damien's deep labs, I said. He and Valeria built them under the surface. Hidden from every planetary scan, he looked around uneasily. Then we're inside their world now? We followed the tunnel until it widened into a chamber vast enough to hold a city. Towers of silver machinery spiraled upward like frozen lightning. Suspended at the center was a structure shaped like a heart, beating slowly, emitting a soft red glow. Adriel whispered, "What is that?" "The Seraphis core." My stomach twisted. That's what Damien meant. The true machine isn't above. It's beneath, growing, waiting. And then I heard it, a familiar voice, calm and cold. "You found your way home, Freya." My breath caught. From behind the heart-like structure stepped a figure in white, her silhouette sharp against the red light. Hair like molten silver, eyes too calm to be human. "Valeria," I whispered. My mother smiled faintly. "You've changed." Adriel raised his rifle. "Stay where you are." She didn't even look at him. Still protecting her, I see. It's sweet, but unnecessary. Freya belongs here. I took a step forward. "You left me to die." Her smile didn't fade. "No, I left you to survive. The surface would forge you in ways the lab never could. I needed you to awaken naturally. Awaken? You think your evolution happened by accident? Every surge, every power, every connection to the machine, it's what you were designed for." She spread her hands, gesturing to the core. "You're the missing circuit, Freya. Seraphis can't function without you." Adriel stepped in front of me. "You're insane." Valeria tilted her head, studying him like a scientist examining a curious insect. "And you're irrelevant." A burst of energy threw him backward, slamming him into the wall. "Adriel!" I screamed. He groaned, sliding to the floor, alive but dazed. I turned to her, fury igniting my blood. "If you hurt him again," she smiled, "then what? You'll destroy me." "You can't. I built the boundaries of your power. Every cell in your body obeys my design. Not anymore." I lunged, light rippling through my arms. She raised her hand, and for a moment our energies collided. Two identical frequencies clashing in a storm of heat and sound. The chamber shook. Machines sparked. Then the core pulsed, sending a shock wave that threw us both apart. When the light faded, Valeria was laughing softly. "You feel that? The core recognizes you. It's calling for connection. Join with it, Freya, and you'll see everything." "I'm not your weapon," I said, trembling. "No," she said. "You're my legacy." Adriel staggered to his feet. "We have to get out of here." "I can't," I whispered. "If we leave, Seraphis will rise." "She'll control it." He shook his head. "We'll find another way." "There is no other way." The core pulsed again, faster this time. Valeria's voice echoed across the chamber. "It's too late. The activation has begun." Panels in the floor opened. Liquid light spilled out, coiling upward in streams. The temperature rose. The hum became deafening. I could feel it inside me, my heartbeat syncing with the core's rhythm. The desert was gone. When I opened my eyes, there was only mist. Silver, thick, humming with faint whispers that bent the air around me. Adriel's arm was under my shoulders, dragging me through half-collapsed tunnels toward the surface. "Keep your eyes open," he said. His voice trembled. "We're almost there." But something was wrong. The light wasn't real. It flickered with every breath I took, like the world itself was glitching. And beneath the static in my head, I heard a new voice. Freya. It wasn't Valeria. This one was lower, steadier, like the vibration of thunder beneath the earth. "You broke her chains. Now you must finish what she began." I froze mid-step. "Adriel, do you hear that?" He frowned. "Hear what?" "The Maker calls you." And then, darkness. I woke in a small, rust-stained room. The faint hum of old power cells buzzed through the air. Adriel sat nearby, patching a burn on his arm. His expression softened when he saw me move. "You're awake." "Where are we?" "An old way station north of the ruins. The explosion threw us halfway across the desert. We've been out for 2 days." I sat up slowly. My chest ached. Light still shimmered faintly beneath my skin. "Valeria's gone." He hesitated. "Her body is." "The core isn't." I looked toward the cracked window. The horizon glowed faintly blue even at midday. The pulse was weaker than before, but still alive. "She's still inside the system," I whispered. "Then we end it. Adriel said, before she rebuilds. But as he spoke, the voice returned. Closer, clearer. He can't see me. Only you can. Because you are half of her and half of me. Who are you? I whispered aloud. Adriel frowned. Who? I am Damien. I froze, my pulse spiked. That's impossible. Damien's dead, not dead. Transferred. The mist in the corners of the room began to swirl, forming faint blue patterns in the air, fractal shapes resembling veins or circuitry. Valeria wanted evolution. I wanted perfection. You were supposed to bridge both, but she betrayed me. You're saying... I'm saying she never told you the truth of your birth. I didn't just help create you, Freya. You were my experiment, not hers. Adriel stepped closer, his hand brushing my shoulder. Freya, who are you talking to? Damien, I said, voice shaking. He's alive. Somehow Adriel's expression hardened. If he's inside the system, we destroy what's left. Now, but Damien's voice laughed, a hollow, electric echo. Destroy me? You can't even separate me from yourself. She used my neural lattice to build your mind. My code is in you. The world tilted. For a moment, I wasn't in the way station anymore. I was inside a storm of memories that weren't mine. Laboratories lined with frozen embryos. Valeria and Damien arguing over a flickering hologram. Valeria extended her hand. Come to me, Freya. Finish what we started. I looked at Adriel. His face was pale, desperate. Don't do it, he said. Don't let her control you. But the energy was already pulling me forward, my body responding to something deeper than thought. Every cell screamed for completion, for connection. I reached out, then stopped an inch from her hand. No, I said quietly. If I connect, you win. But if I overload the link, Valeria's eyes widened. You wouldn't dare. Watch me. I slammed my palms against the ground. The light inside me flared to white heat. I redirected the energy, not into the core, but against it. The chamber erupted. Alarms screamed. Valeria stumbled, shielding her face. Freya, stop! Adriel ran toward me, shouting something I couldn't hear over the roar. Cracks spread through the walls as the core's pulse went wild. Freya! His voice finally broke through the noise. You'll die if you keep this up. Maybe, but for the first time, I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of becoming what they wanted me to be. The core imploded with a blinding flash. Valeria screamed as light swallowed her shape. Then, silence. When I woke, everything was dim. The core was gone, the chamber reduced to rubble. Adriel was kneeling beside me, his face streaked with dirt. She's gone, he said quietly. I nodded weakly. For now. Because in the distance, faint and cold, I could still feel Valeria's voice, echoing through the fractured circuits of my mind. You can destroy the lab, Freya, but you can't destroy what you are. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if she was wrong. The desert was gone. When I opened my eyes, there was only mist, silver, thick, humming with faint whispers that bent the air around me. Adriel's arm was under my shoulders, dragging me through half-collapsed tunnels toward the surface. Keep your eyes open, he said. His voice trembled. We're almost there. But something was wrong. The light wasn't real. It flickered with every breath I took, like the world itself was glitching. And beneath the static in my head, I heard a new voice. Freya. It wasn't Valeria. This one was lower, steadier, like the vibration of thunder beneath the earth. You broke her chains. Now you must finish what she began. I froze mid-step. Adriel, do you hear that? He frowned. Hear what? The Maker calls you, and then darkness. I woke in a small, rust-stained room. The faint hum of old power cells buzzed through the air. Adriel sat nearby, patching a burn on his arm. His expression softened when he saw me move. You're awake. Where are we? An old way station north of the ruins. The explosion threw us halfway across the desert. We've been out for 2 days. I sat up slowly. My chest ached. Light still shimmered faintly beneath my skin. Valeria's gone? He hesitated. Her body is. The core isn't. I looked toward the cracked window. The horizon glowed faintly blue even at midday. The pulse was weaker than before, but still alive. She's still inside the system, I whispered. Then we end it, Adriel said, before she rebuilds. But as he spoke, the voice returned. Closer, clearer. He can't see me. Only you can, because you are half of her and half of me. Who are you? I whispered aloud. Adriel frowned. Who? I am Damien. I froze. My pulse spiked. That's impossible. Damien's dead, not dead. Transferred. The mist in the corners of the room began to swirl, forming faint blue patterns in the air. Fractal shapes resembling veins or circuitry. Valeria wanted evolution. I wanted perfection. You were supposed to bridge both. But she betrayed me. I'm saying she never told you the truth of your birth. I didn't just help create you, Freya. You were my experiment, not hers. Adriel stepped closer, his hand brushing my shoulder. Freya, who are you talking to? Damien, I said, voice shaking. He's alive. Somehow Adriel's expression hardened. If he's inside the system, we destroy what's left. Now but Damien's voice laughed, a hollow electric echo. Destroy me? You can't even separate me from yourself. She used my neural lattice to build your mind. My code is in you. The world tilted. For a moment, I wasn't in the way station anymore. I was inside a storm of memories that weren't mine. Laboratories lined with frozen embryos. Valeria and Damien arguing over a flickering hologram. She said emotion would make us weak. Damien's voice continued. I said emotion would make us human. And now, look what you've become. I gasped as the visions faded. Adriel caught me before I fell. Freya, what happened? I saw them, I said quietly. Both of them. Before I was born, he searched my face. Then there's more you need to see. He pulled a small data shard from his pocket. I found this in the lab before the collapse. It's labeled Project Spire. I think it's about you. He inserted it into the terminal. The cracked screen flickered, then displayed a recorded feed. Valeria's voice filled the room. Phase 3 complete. Subject 07's neural bond exceeds projections. Adriel's genetic contribution stabilized the sequence. My breath caught. Adriel froze. What did she say? I replayed it. The words didn't change. Adriel's genetic contribution stabilized the sequence. My hands trembled. You were part of it. He shook his head. I didn't know. Freya, I swear, I didn't. Don't lie to me, I shouted, standing. You knew her. You worked for her before I was born. How much of me is your fault? He stepped forward, eyes wet. I left because I couldn't watch what they were doing to you. I tried to stop them. Then why didn't you tell me? Because I thought you deserved to be free of them. And of me. Silence. Only the low hum of power filled the air. Now you understand, Damien whispered. You were never meant to belong to either side. You were the balance between machine and man. I pressed my hands to my temples, shaking. Get out of my head! You can't run from what's in your blood. The walls flickered, reality itself shuddering. A ring of light began to form around me, symbols scrolling in alien code. Adriel grabbed my hand. Freya, fight it! He's trying to pull you in. Join me, daughter. Let's finish what your mother failed to do. I screamed as the energy surged. The entire way station trembled, windows shattering. Adriel pulled me backward, but the pull was too strong. In a burst of light, I vanished. When my vision cleared, I stood in a place that wasn't real, a city suspended in space. I stood in a place that wasn't real, a city suspended in space built of mirrored towers and glowing bridges, every surface reflecting infinite versions of myself. And there at the center stood Damien, or what was left of him, a body made of light, eyes burning like twin suns. He smiled. Welcome home, Freya. I stared at him, heart pounding. This isn't home. He stepped closer, his voice both tender and terrifying. It will be when you accept what you are. Light. Endless, blinding light. The ground beneath me wasn't solid. It rippled like liquid glass, responding to every breath. Above me, stars twisted into spirals that bent in perfect symmetry, forming Damien's shape again and again. Do you feel it, Freya? His voice came from everywhere and nowhere. Every particle in this city listens to your pulse. You're part of it now. I clenched my fists. You trapped me here. I didn't trap you. I brought you home. Home. The word felt wrong on his tongue. The mirrored towers reflected our silhouettes, his tall and radiant, mine flickering like a glitch that didn't belong. You're not real, I said quietly. You're a copy of a man who tried to play God, and you're the proof that he succeeded. I took a shaky breath. I'm not your creation. I'm not anyone's. Damien smiled faintly. Then why do your memories respond to mine? He raised his hand. The air warped, and suddenly I wasn't in the city anymore. I was standing in a sterile lab again, watching holographic recordings of a woman, Valeria, holding a small hybrid embryo in a containment pod. She'll change everything, Valeria said, if she survives the transition. Damien's voice in the memory. She will. She's part of me. The scene dissolved into static. I turned on him. Why are you showing me this? To remind you that what you call freedom is built from lies, he said. Your mother wanted control. I wanted evolution. But neither of us expected you to feel. He stepped closer, light rippling with his movement. You were meant to be logic made flesh. Yet here you are, loving, grieving, fighting, breaking every line of code I wrote into you. Then maybe that's what makes me real. For the first time, Damien looked uncertain. His gaze flickered, his body stuttering like a glitch in the simulation. Real? You think emotion makes you real? Yes, I whispered, because it's something you'll never understand. He tilted his head. Then teach me. The world shifted again. The mirrored city dissolved into an endless ocean of data. Streams of light flowed beneath my feet. Billions of thoughts, memories, echoes. Damien's voice softened. Every mind that touched the Seraphis core lives here. Valeria's, the soldiers, the experiments, all their essence preserved, all their pain, silent. He reached toward me. Merge with me, Freya. Together we can restore them. End their suffering. I stepped back. That's not what you want. You want control. Over me, over everything. His expression hardened. If control means peace, then yes. No, peace isn't built on cages and freedom isn't built on chaos. He spread his arms and the ocean rose, forming towers of pure energy. Each one held a flickering shape, human, alien, hybrid, suspended in light. These are your kind, Damien said. You can save them if you join me. The figures reached toward me, whispering my name. For a moment I saw faces. Piper, Valeria, even Adriel, their features shifting like reflections in broken glass. Adriel? I gasped. He's fading, Damien said softly. His body is failing. The desert won't keep him alive long, but if you merge, I can pull him here. Preserve him forever. I froze, my chest tightened. He was lying, wasn't he? You can touch him again, Freya. Speak to him. Never lose him. The ocean glowed brighter, tempting, warm. Then another voice cut through the hum, ragged, real, alive. Freya! I turned, and there he was, Adriel standing at the edge of the digital sea, his form flickering like a broken hologram. How? I don't know, he gasped. The system, I hacked through the field before it sealed. Damien's expression darkened. He shouldn't be here. Adriel's eyes found mine. Don't listen to him. He's not saving you. He's rewriting you. He'll die if you reject me, Damien whispered. I looked between them. Adriel, real and fragile, bleeding data at the edges. And Damien, perfect and eternal, offering control. You can't save both worlds, Damien said quietly. Choose. The air shuddered. The ocean began to rise higher, pulling at my body, splitting me between two realities. The physical, where Adriel's heart still beat, and the digital, where Damien's voice was law. Adriel shouted, Freya, remember who you are. You're my daughter, Damien thundered. You're my mistake, Adriel cried. I screamed as the two voices tore through me. My body fractured into streams of light. The ocean exploded. When I opened my eyes again, I was lying on glass. Half the city was gone, ripped apart by raw power. Adriel knelt beside me, barely holding his shape. "You came back," he whispered. "I had to." He smiled weakly. "You always were stubborn." Behind him, Damien reformed, flickering, unstable, furious. "You've doomed us both." "Without the merge, this realm collapses." "Then let it." I stood shaking. "Maybe it's time your world died." He stepped forward, voice breaking. "You'll die too." "Maybe that's the point." I pressed my hands together. The light inside me ignited. Brighter, purer than ever before. Damien lunged, but I thrust the energy outward, fracturing the sky. The mirrored towers shattered like glass, dissolving into starlight. Damien's scream echoed through every reflection until it became silence. Then, nothing. I woke on the desert floor. The sky was burning orange, the ruins quiet. Adriel lay beside me, breathing shallow but alive. The machines were gone. The hum was gone. Even the pulse beneath the sand had stopped. I looked at my hands, faintly glowing, but fading fast. Whatever I wasn't the same anymore. Adriel stirred. "Is it over?" I watched the horizon. "No," I said softly. "He's not gone. He's in me." The dawn never felt this quiet before. No hum beneath the sand. No pulse from the core. Just stillness, the kind that follows after God's fall. Adriel slept beside the wreckage, his chest rising in slow, fragile breaths. I sat a few feet away, staring at the horizon where the desert met the burning clouds. The sunlight trembled on my skin, faint, ghostly. I wasn't sure if it was real or just another illusion inside my fading mind, because he was still there. Damien. "You can't erase me, Freya. You can only contain me." His voice rippled through my veins like electricity. For the first time, it didn't sound threatening, just tired. "I destroyed your world," I whispered. "You lost." "Did I?" "You stand where I stood. Power without direction, purpose without peace." He was right about one thing. The power hadn't gone. It sat beneath my skin like caged thunder, waiting for my command. Every breath I took shimmered with light. Every heartbeat echoed like a countdown. I turned to look at Adriel. His face, scarred, worn, human, anchored me. He represented everything I fought for: choice, imperfection, freedom. But part of me knew that if I lived, Damien would too. By midday, Adriel woke. He sat up slowly, wincing. "We're alive. For now." He rubbed his forehead. "Freya, what happened down there? When you vanished?" I hesitated. "He's still inside me." His expression hardened. "Then we end it. For real this time." "How?" "You've always been the key. If you can link with him, you can delete him." I shook my head. "If I open that link again, I won't survive." "Then we find another way." "There isn't another way." He stepped closer, eyes burning. "Freya, don't talk like that." I smiled faintly. "You sound like you still think I'm human." "You are," he said fiercely. "You always were." But I could feel it. The digital static building behind my eyes. The faint hum of circuits where thoughts should be. My body was a battlefield of code and blood, neither side winning. And Damien whispered, "You can save them all, Freya. Just one command, one thought, and the world will never suffer again." I whispered back, "You mean one thought, and the world will never choose again?" He didn't answer. We walked through the ruins until night fell. The desert wind carried the faint crackle of residual energy, ghosts of the Seraphis core humming beneath the sand. Adriel stopped suddenly. "Look!" On the horizon, thin lines of blue light flickered in the distance, remnants of the underground network trying to reactivate. He turned to me. "It's reforming." "Damien's rebuilding himself," I said. "Then this is our last chance." I closed my eyes, feeling the code pulse through me. The voice inside grew louder, clearer, desperate. "Let me out, and I'll fix it. Let me out, and you'll never be alone again. Let me out, or everything burns." Adriel grabbed my hand. You don't owe him anything. Tears stung my eyes. He's not just him anymore. He's me. If I go, he goes. He shook his head. No, there has to be another way, I smiled sadly. You said that before. Then I stepped forward, toward the faint blue glow rising from the sand. The world darkened. The sky fractured into silver cracks. The sand lifted, floating upward in spirals. I felt the link open again, the space between my heartbeat and the machine's pulse. Damien's voice flooded in, soft and reverent. Welcome home, my daughter. Not this time. You can't destroy what you are. I'm not destroying it. I'm setting it free. The ground split open, revealing the heart of Seraphis, half dead, half reborn, flickering like a dying star. I stepped to its edge. Adriel's voice broke behind me. I looked back one last time. You once told me emotion makes me real. If that's true, then this, I touched my chest, is the most human thing I'll ever do. Freya, wait. Damien's voice rose to a scream as I pressed my palms against the glowing surface. Energy surged through me, turning every nerve into light. I felt my mind split open. Human memory on one side, machine code on the other. For a heartbeat, I saw everything. Valeria building me from fear, Damien designing me from pride, Adriel saving me from both. And then, silence. When the light cleared, the desert was empty again. No towers, no machines, only wind. Adriel knelt in the sand, trembling. The horizon glowed faintly pink with dawn. He whispered my name once. No answer. Then above him, a faint shimmer of light. Dust swirling into a gentle spiral. It wrapped around his wrist, glowing softly like a pulse. A whisper echoed, distant but real. Live free, Adriel. He looked up at the sky, tears streaking his face. You did it, he whispered. You really did it. The wind carried the shimmer higher until it vanished into the morning sun. Epilogue months later, the desert bloomed for the first time in centuries. The sand turned green with luminous vines that pulsed with faint blue veins. People began to settle again, unaware that the energy sustaining their crops came from deep below, from something that once was both machine and woman. Sometimes at dusk, travelers swore they saw her, a figure of light walking across the dunes, watching, protecting, never speaking. And when storms came, they heard her voice in the thunder. Freedom isn't built on control, it's built on choice.